Bullecast for life.
Doggy Charles. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. The microphone messiah. Yeah. It's the microphone messiah. And Mr. No Days Off.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is I, the Microphone Messiah. I'm joined by Marlee and Brandon for another edition of the Bulletcast. 1 week away from the big 400th episode. Got some stuff planned out for that. Should be a lot of fun. So, what's going on, guys? Brandon? Nothing?
Well,
Nothing.
It'll be apropos. I just muted myself before the show basically started. So,
oh god, here we are. Here we go. A lot of stuff to talk about outside of the ring. Vince McMahon, or at least his Twitter account, has released a statement about the upcoming documentary that will be airing on Netflix. Brandon, can you please read the statement?
I mean, I guess I'll read the statement because that's just all I'm here for. I'll spare the Vinnie Mac impression. I don't regret participating in this Netflix documentary. The producers had an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built, which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on an early partial cut I've seen, this doc falls short and takes the predictable path of conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self, Vince. The title and promos alone make that evident. A lot has been misrepresented or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers use typical editing tricks without of context footage and dated sound bites, etc., to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. In an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended evidence that I am in fact Mr. McMahon. I hope the viewers will keep an open mind and remember that there are two sides to every story.
Marlee, how do you feel about this?
I'm indifferent because I feel like if you have to post a statement, it kind of states the obvious. But I don't know. I feel like this wasn't this documentary in the works like way before the lawsuit even happened?
Possibly. I mean, there's a lot of Vince projects that have been in the works and then just kind of never panned out. This is one of them that has panned out. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's, obviously, put out a statement to kind of stay face, if there is even face to stay, given everything that's happened and him no longer being affiliated with the company at all. So, when does this air, Brandon? Do we know? Do we have a date?
Well, kayfabe, we're recording this on Tuesday, so it's supposed to drop tonight at midnight.
All right. Well, we will see. And kayfabe has been broken. Jesus Christ.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, the Vince McMahon doc will drop. We'll talk about that on the 400th episode, amongst other things. We'll probably have some guests, so look forward to that. Raw apparently is going to be moving back to 3 hours once it goes to Netflix. We know once it or I think the part of the deal was to stay on USA for the remainder of the year into 2025, was that it had to go to 2 hours. So, Raw will be back to 3 hours on Netflix and probably see some wacky, wild stuff. Apparently, Smackdown is going to be going to 3 hours as well on the USA network once it's left alone, once NXT and Raw leave. So, I mean, that's a rumor about Smackdown. No real confirmation on that. So we'll just have to wait to see. Could be getting I mean,
enjoy it while we can, everyone. We have got the end of the year of two-hour shows, and then who knows about AEW going to 3 hours. I mean, can we just have
AEW going to 3 hours?
Can we just have a wrestling show be 2 hours? Because that seems to be the perfect length.
Well, does that mean
too much?
Does that mean that they're going to extend NXT potentially?
No,
they're extending everything.
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like Raw, as of late, they've really figured out the 3 hour mark, like the 3 hour time slot. Like, it fits well with everything they're doing. So I mean, we'll have to wait to see. And then 3-hour Smackdowns, like when the bloodline was really at, like its core. We get
2-hour SmackDown's already kind of feeling a little long already.
How was that Smackdown? That thing flew by.
How'd you enjoy watching a screen for like 15 minutes?
I wasn't even in the building. We're gonna talk about that. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait to see with all these television deals and extensions of time. But yeah, man, I love it. I think SmackDown should be 6 hours. Come on now, let's get all the wrestling we can, man. We love this.
Yeah,
That's why we talk about this.
Everybody on the roster gets a moment to shine.
That's what I'm talking about. Come on now. Apparently, Miro has requested his release from All Elite Wrestling.
Good. See you later.
Not
don't
surprised.
Let the door hit you on the way out.
Okay, so don't do that. I mean, he was God's favorite champion, and that was it. That was literally it.
He was also the best man. Don't forget, and had a stupid arcade match.
That was his debut, huh? Yeah.
Yep. Good times.
I loved God's favorite champion. I loved it. I mean, he had the custom TNT title. That was one of my favorites. I think Scorpio Skies and his are probably my favorite custom TNT championships. But hey, man, Miro is maybe Rusev Day will reign supreme once again. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's had such a stop-start push his entire AEW career. I don't know whose fault it is. People will say he doesn't want to do jobs. People will say creative is off the form. I don't know, but it's been like such hype for like how long it's been, like 3 years now, and he's really done nothing of substance. Like even like the TNT title, like yeah, he had some cool promos and stuff, but like if it comes to like memorable matches, like I don't remember anything Miro did in the ring. Honestly,
he wrestled Darby.
I don't remember anything Miro did in AEW at all.
He wrestled Darby Allin once for the TNT title.
I'll take that back. I remember him wrestling Eddie Kingston because I was there at that All Out show, and that's about it.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. Ken Shamrock has apparently signed a Legends deal with World Wrestling Entertainment. This has been going on for weeks. I feel like we talk about this every single week. It's like the 5th or 6th one in a row. You'd be put in the video game. He's another guy that should go in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what's going on with this. Yeah. This is gonna be fun. I feel like WrestleMania weekend, that Hall of Fame class could be stacked with the possibility of like Victoria, Ken Shamrock, Armando Estrada, who apparently is helping out my boy Zilla Fatu at an event going down. Congratulations to Elton Prince and Kelly Kincaid. They welcomed their first child. Didn't even know they were together. Kelly Kincaid was in Ring of Honor doing the backstage interviewer role, and then she went over to NXT to do it. So congratulations to the happy couple.
Okay.
Good job, guys.
All right, you created a life. Woohoo!
Have fun sleeping for the next like 24 months.
Right, we do have. What were you about to say, Marlee?
I said, what a collaboration!
All right, one of the main collabs. Dan writes in, Saturday night's main event isn't coming back. Technically, it's been around as a house show. This is the argument I saw going on over social media this past weekend. Why? Why are people arguing about that? That's crazy.
People having nonsensical arguments on the internet, that can't be real. That doesn't happen.
It's like, what internet is that? And how can I get on that internet?
Yeah.
I just see beautiful photos of Mudang. Phillip, you know who Mudang is?
Is that that's the hippo gimmick, right?
Good job, Phillip.
Yeah. See, I'm
the icon.
The only reason why I know who that is, I was scrolling through Twitter. Twitter is a wild place right now. I mean, they need to fix that. It said Mudang was at the Diddy parties. I'm like, all right, this has to stop.
How dare they?
We've gone
1,000 bottle of baby lotion, baby oil.
Bro, like in all seriousness, this Diddy shit is crazy. This is some of the most wild shit. I'm at a loss for words.
Interesting times that we live in these days.
Tell me about it. That was all the fan mail we had. So shout out Dan. Dun, 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 dun. What else? What else? What else? Oh wait, no, we do have another one. Who 420?
Hooty hoo.
Uh, it's obvious that it's obvious to the public that Kevin Owens will turn on Cody Rhodes, given what Cody's doing right now. But in all actuality, Cody is the heel, teaming with the guy that made Kevin Owens' life a living hell for the past 4 years.
I mean, a good villain always has a reasonable explanation for his actions. You might not like him for it, but he has a reason.
I mean, Chris Jericho said it best. Like, a great heel always has truth to what they're saying. I mean, it's been done to death. Guys like Piper, Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan is probably the best example. He always told us Hogan wasn't a good guy, and then the NWO happens, and then we find out Hogan in his personal life.
Bobby Heenan, way ahead of his time.
Bobby Heenan was ahead of the curve. He was decades ahead of the curve. Come on now. But yeah, I mean, it's inevitable. And then I don't know, man. Like I would like to see the prize fighter. If the prize fighter Kevin Owens came back, I believe he could beat Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. That Kevin Owens that debuted in NXT in 2014, I believe that guy could beat Cody Rhodes for the WWE title.
That Kevin Owens, who surprised everybody in War Games too, could also beat Cody Rhodes.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like the ship has kind of sailed with Kevin Owens. He's kind of in that AJ Styles, obviously younger, so not like, same age range, but I feel like he's a guy. I don't see him being like a main event top tier guy like I thought 10 years ago, but we've seen some surprise title changes this week. Maybe we'll see another one soon. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Let's get into SmackDown. Roman and Cody face off. Another cinematic moment from the tribal chief Roman Reigns. They meet at Georgia Tech. They meet on the field. Roman says, I'm blood, sweat, and tears. This is my field. And then Cody, talks about the family history in Atlanta and the Omni and all these things. And Cody just wants to know, will Roman have his back? And Roman says he'll have his back for the tag match. And I mean, there were this was shot very well. Apparently, Paul Heyman was, the executive producer behind all this, which is fantastic. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And then Cody, I loved the tie-in to, it was before WrestleMania 39. Cody told Roman, you would be a chief without a tribe. And here we are. Solos turned on him. The new bloodline took away Jimmy, took away the wise man. Marlee, what were your thoughts on this?
I thought it was very well done. It was very well executed. You can definitely see or notice a little bit of Paul Heyman's input and creative direction on this promo. I thought it was a good setup for the tag team match and a good continuation of Roman and Cody's story from WrestleMania. Overall, I think it was perfectly placed, perfect transition in their story.
I was a little conflicted on the segment. I mean, I think there was, good performances. I thought it was beautifully shot, but I think that was kind of another thing that kind of distracted me or took it away from me. I think it was like too overproduced. Just kind of takes me out of it. Just like, obviously this is like a thing they're doing, and it just seemed like too overly fake for me, like too much. Like, I get it. It's the cinema stuff and they are trying to like put themselves over the top. I felt like it was just too much. Like, we see this in NXT from time to time where they do like all these different camera cuts, and there's like a camera angle that they changed that if you knew if this was real, there would have been a camera guy right in that same shot. So it's a little, it's not shocking they did something like this, because Cody's kind of both of them are kind of theater kids-ish in terms of like wanting to overproduce and like, be the good actors and stuff. It's just I felt it was a little too much, to be honest.
It's never, I mean, it was great, man. Like, I always wonder, like, how, because like obviously the acting and the story that the Bloodline has told has been the cinema that we've seen. And, I mean, obviously we've seen cinematic matches like Firefly Funhouse, etc. I was wondering, like, how can they kind of top certain things or advance and move forward? And this was one of them. Now, I guess the real question is, how many other companies are going to start doing this?
I mean, I don't know how many companies can rent out a D1 stadium, have 4K 24 frame cameras.
I'm not talking about the stadium. I'm talking about just like trying to do, a cinematic portrayal of something.
We see that. I mean, we saw that literally the entire promotion of Lucha Underground.
Yeah. I mean, Lucha Underground they were ahead of the curve. They were kind of the Lucha Underground walked so like things like this could run. You see what I'm saying? It was, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now let's talk about something I was in the building for. Kind of give you the backstory. I was able to get a ticket. Shout out to the plug. Very late. Me and Big Toko. We walk in the door at 6:30. The 6-man tag is going off, and shout out to my boy Jake. Man, I'm very proud of him to see him do his thing on the highest stage possible. It's still surreal and it's very heartwarming to see that. But yeah, Bloodline with KO and the Profits, ends kind of just in a no contest, and then DIY they show up and get taken down until the American Nightmare runs out there. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was just kind of more the same. Bloodline, KO Profit stuff. It was, it was a little bit of a shock that Cody, showed up because we saw the cinematic masterpiece took place. So I thought that was like, oh, okay, we're not going to get Cody or Roman, so it is what it is. But then Cody made it the surprise run-in, so that was probably the highlight. And then the kind of over the top will he won't he stuff with KO. I get it, but I do wonder if they're not going to pull the trigger soon. Maybe they put it back on the table on the back burner for a little bit.
Well, maybe it happens at Bad Blood. I don't know.
Maybe, or
I mean, it could.
Maybe KO costs Roman and Cody the win, and Solo gets his win back and pins the WWE champion. That's a possibility. Maybe all hell breaks loose and KO comes out for the save, and then boom, stuns the American Night. Yeah, I mean we'll see. LA Knight retains in a damn good match. I hear I wasn't in the building for it. Against Andrade for the United States title. I know we had a couple of little missteps with the getting on the ropes, but hey, man, that happens in this game.
Yeah, match was fine. I mean, I kind of wish we could get something that LA Knight could like sink his teeth into, because we've had these like little one-off matches and like kind of mini feuds like with Legado, with Andrade. So I wonder if Carmelo, because he's like in that same universe, they did do another backstage brawl with him and Andrade, which I thought that was very good. Like it seemed authentic, and like Andrade's hair was wet and it like just drenched the camera so you could barely see anything. I thought that was very well done. But yeah, the match itself was fine.
Marlee?
I was gonna agree and say if we get something long term between Carmelo and LA Knight once the Andrade Carmelo series ends, that would be pretty cool to see. Get like the same attention and time that the feuds for the bigger titles get, more so than the mid card titles.
Yeah, I think that would be something. I would just, I mean, the IC, I mean, not the IC, the US title has kind of always been the open challenge. Like, I'll wrestle anybody for this title. That's kind of always what it's been there for. I mean, yeah, if he can get his teeth into something, I think that would be fun. Let LA Knight kind of really tell a nice, little decent story. Moving on from that, Bayley and Naomi both pinned Nia Jax, so I guess we're going to get a triple threat. What?
What are the odds that the two babyface challengers who are fighting for a title match end up pinning the champion at the exact same time? Who would have seen that coming?
Who would have seen it coming? Shout out Bayley.
Seems like the only option.
Yeah. Shout out Bayley. She did a with a meet and greet and at a Cricket Wireless at like 9 a.m. on a Friday. And I was like, oh Jesus.
Shout out Bayley going to LA to watch the Rams and 49er play. Just see the 49ers lose. Hate to see that.
Hate to see it. Yeah, I saw Bayley after SmackDown. She creeped into a what was it? A little sports bar right there next to the venue. She's trying to be incognito, but she had her bag with her. I'm just surprised no fans like bum rushed her. I thought those Sacramento has some very respectful wrestling fans. Shout out. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Nothing really going on inside the ring. Let's move on. Jey Uso does it. He becomes the USOcontinental champion. Jey Uso defeats Bron Breakker and wins the IC title. Hell of a match, man. Hell of a match. Congrats to Jey, man. 14 years, over 5,000 days, and he did it. Finally won his first singles title. I mean, this and Joe Tessitore. I want to shout out him for a second. There was a line he said. He said, for years he would always, which Uso were you? Which one are you? And that dates back to when, this whole bloodline thing started 4 years ago. So it's been a 4-year arc of Jey trying to find himself and get to this spot of main event Jey Uso. And bro, he's over as hell. One of the dark matches at SmackDown was him versus McIntyre. As soon as that music hit, bro, everybody's up doing the thing. Like, it was fantastic. Congrats to him, bro. And I'm glad they pulled the trigger. And not every title reign needs to be long. Because I was afraid Jey was going to get into Bray Wyatt territory. Like, obviously, we love Bray and everything he did. Such a creative individual. But like, when Bray got in a feud, like, and had matches, you knew he wasn't going to win. So like, some interest was lost. I mean, like, he lost the Dean Ambrose feud, the John Cena feud, the Roman Reigns feud, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't want Jey to get into that territory. I mean, they say in this business you don't have to go over to get over, but there comes a point in time where, like, all right, well, if you don't rack up any wins, then when you finally do win, some will cheer and have the adulation, and then the majority may not care, but nonetheless, congrats to Jey Uso, man, love it, and he's the 5th member of the bloodline, the dynasty, to win the IC title, joining the ranks of Umaga, Roman Reigns, his father Rikishi, and The Rock. Marlee, what are your thoughts on Jey Uso becoming the Intercontinental Champion?
It's well deserved and long overdue. I didn't think he was going to do it. I expected a Braun Breaker to retain. It was nice to get a little surprise, that rare surprise title change on a Monday night. Every once in a while, it's nice to see a little refresh there. So, congratulations and good for Jey Uso.
Brandon, what are your thoughts on Jey Uso winning the Intercontinental title?
I was shocked because, like, a lot of people, like, we thought, oh, maybe we're gonna get a schmoz, maybe Braun's just gonna beat him again, but no, it was a really good match. And also shout out Joe Tessitore. He's not gonna be on the pay-per-views probably at all. It's gonna be Michael Cole stuff. So this was probably one of the biggest matches he's gonna call in WWE, and I thought he delivered fantastically. The kick out from Braun was great. And kind of sucked that with time constraints we couldn't, like, kind of soak in and have, like, a little elongated celebration with Jey. And yeah, I thought it was all well done, well executed, and I do wonder where they go from here. And we always say, oh, heels can always bounce back, but I do honestly think Braun Breaker can bounce back from this. He'll be fine. I do wonder, maybe you flip him over to SmackDown since Cody doesn't got a lot of people to work with over there, but yeah, Braun will be fine, and this was obviously a big moment for Jey.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. And like the not having the elongated celebration, I just think, like, that first, like, entrance as champion is going to be massive. I think, like, Eddie Guerrero when he walked out with the title for the first time, and Jeff Hardy, like these monster celebrations. I feel like it's going to be something very special. Drew McIntyre cuts his promo on CM Punk. I mean, both of these have felt like kind of like go home show promos. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know how to feel about this Drew promo, because he, like, basically copied whatever Punk said, like, not word for word, obviously, but he basically said the exact same thing Punk said. It was a very short promo. I don't want to say he phoned it in, but this was just like, I'm just saying stuff to say stuff, and let's just get this thing over with, and let's get to the match by now.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of did feel like that. And I wonder what the go home Raw is going to look like. Marlee.
Yeah, I felt like it was kind of flat. It wasn't his best promo, but I feel like it's also kind of representing his character arc right now, where he just wants to get straight to killing CM Punk, for lack of a better word. He's just done with talking. He just wants to get in that cell.
Yeah, enough of the jaw jacking. It's time to get in there and
both of them dropped the blood line.
There has to be.
I was gonna say, I mean, there has to be, and I wonder how much or how gory we're gonna get in a WWE show.
Yeah, I mean, we'll save it for next week. We will do predictions for
What?
We
do predictions on the show?
Yeah.
There should be like a championship or a title on the line for that. But that's so like outdated. That's like a 2014 YouTube thing. Why would we do something like
I
that?
mean, we were the first to really do it. I mean, come on, we ran that game, been there, done that. Hello. Yeah, we'll talk about Bad Blood next week on the 400th episode. Got a lot of stuff planned for that. American Made defeats the New Day clean. They get a clean win over the longest reigning tag team champions in history. Actually, no, I'm sorry. They were until the Usos beat the record. I'm sorry.
Yeah, show some respect on the Usos, but
come on now.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was much more of a story about Xavier Woods and kind of his further descent into madness. And once again, a great test storyline is, Xavier was going after Chad Gable, and instead of like, oh yeah, get him, Chad deserves it, he's so annoying, he rightfully pointed out, Woods, you're distracted. Don't go after him. Go after the people actually in the match and go for the win. And so I think Testator is like a great, like logical announcer, which is something I always try to strive for in wrestling. And I thought that was a fantastic stuff. And then at the end, the segment with him and LWO was great. Ray standing up to him. He's a great kind of foil for Woods to possibly turn heel or whatever they're going to do. And I got to admit, the pancake spot at the very end did kind of get me. So props to New Day, actually kind of make me laugh for the first time in like 6 years.
What? Really? The first time in 6 years?
I mean, they've been running dry a little bit recently, let's be honest.
I mean, is it because E's not there?
I'm expecting the E return eventually. It's probably going to be the blow up is when E comes back, or E.
Can he just manage them? Like, he doesn't have to wrestle.
Yeah, but I mean, to have someone who can't wrestle to like show up for all those shows and travel, especially like with a neck injury, I know probably flying a plane twice or 4 times a week probably isn't great for your neck. So,
I mean, show up periodically.
I mean, he does the pre and post shows.
Yeah,
and I mean, you can use him periodically, but it's almost like you don't want him to show up because then people get excited that he might come back. So you don't want to dangle that carrot out there.
Dude, like there are certain like Edge showed up for years before he
he didn't. Yeah, but he wasn't. Yeah, but he wasn't managing Christian.
No, but I'm just that is true. I mean, Daniel Bryan was the general manager. He was around for hell long,
and he talked about how tough that was on him, how he hated that.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. All right. Karrion Kross and Miz have a segment, and Karrion Kross says he misses, the way Miz used to be. So, are we gonna get Miz to have to be heel again?
What is the Miz that we used to have? What is that? I don't even know who that is.
It's the most must-see WWE superstar in WWE history. I mean, it's the guy that, honestly, when
give us the guy straight at Tough Enough wearing those kooky hats with Morrison. Give me that Miz.
Oh gosh.
No, talking smack Miz, like that guy. Like, can we get that Miz back?
We need the Miz that cashed in the Money in the Bank title and pissed off that little girl in the audience. We need that Miz back.
I was listening to
Miz WrestleMania 42, 41, whatever WrestleMania Raw main eventer again.
Like, if we can get when Miz cut that promo on Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack, I mean, a lot of people felt like he should have just won the WWE title. After that, if we can get Miz back to somewhat of that level of heel, like get him back to have like a real run. I mean, could you imagine Miz running around at like he was like in 2017 with the Intercontinental title, but except it's the World Heavyweight Championship? Maybe bring Maurice back in for a cup of coffee, etc. Just get Miz back to a prominent spot.
Bring back Miz and Mrs. Maybe Under the Radar will come back.
Yeah, I mean, Miz and Mrs. are great. Total Bellas. See, Brandon was really the reality show guy for this podcast. Marlee, were you a fan of the WWE reality shows?
I'm not really.
I mean, just because I cover them doesn't mean I was a fan of them.
Person.
Nah, bro, you covered them and watched them. You were a fan. You don't got a lot of this.
I mean, just because it's whatever.
I did watch that. The last two, not the last 2 seasons, but the 2 seasons before Ronda Rousey was on Total Divas, I did watch. I think Carmella was on that season.
Carmella? Yeah. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I was saying I'm not really like a reality show person. Like, I've seen Jersey Shore, but I'm not really.
Yeah, I mean, WWE's tried their hand. Like, Carmella and Corey Graves had a reality show that was just on WWE's YouTube channel. Obviously they did the. I still haven't seen the Montez Ford and Bianca Belair one. We still gotta check that out. Yeah,
It's on Hulu.
yeah, it is on Hulu. Like WWE, they've tried their hands. Obviously, Total Bellas, Total Divas, Ms. and Mrs. They even did like one with like Mick Foley on the WWE Network. Like they've tried their hand at these.
Holy Foley. It's almost like I've seen all these shows.
I actually
shout out Noel.
Shout out Noel. I actually kind of enjoyed that one. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So well, I mean, we'll see what happens with all these things. All right, now Marlee and I are gonna step away. We're gonna let Brandon recap All Elite Wrestling Dynamite.
All right, we got AEW Grand Slam taking place from Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. The WrestleTix reported the show had sold 8,191 tickets thus far Wednesday morning. They could have sold up to 8,400 tickets. The capacity of the arena, 23,000. And you can kind of tell on the show that it was a smaller crowd than normal. I mean, especially if you go back to that first show where they sold, I think, maybe 15,000 tickets, maybe a little bit more than that. I don't know the number, but it was a stark contrast from the first show. It is good that they did sell more tickets in the last few days or weeks, because I know they were kind of hovering around 6,000 for a little bit, and it is nice to see they at least got a bump up to 8,000. I do wonder how much of that was just the card itself, or if it was just people who were always going to go to the show and they just wait till the last second, because usually AEW put out some sort of, 2-for-1s or some sort of sale, or, they know they're going to go, but they want to save their money till the very, very end to buy their tickets. But that's just something we'll never know. This was night 1 of 2, doing both Dynamite and Collision at Queens. Both shows being taped on Wednesday. Haven't seen any spoilers in terms of what took place on Collision, but pretty loaded show on both of them. Not the biggest Grand Slam card, but it was a good Dynamite card nonetheless. So we started off hot with Nigel McGuinness coming out to the ring, comes out to Oasis, and we get Bryan Danielson's AEW theme song. Nothing. McGuinness takes the mic, says that he wants a count-out victory, so the referee starts counting, and what do you know? We got the final countdown plays, so Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness does take place, and they wrestled for about 19 minutes, so a fairly long match, no commercial breaks at all, and you could tell they were kind of motivated and they wanted to do some of the throwbacks. They did a lot of mat work. They did the kind of semi-viral thing that went a little viral a couple days ago of the ring spot post of Danielson taking Nigel's arms and kind of pulling him and bashing his head into the ring post. They didn't do the full blown, they each do it to each other spot, but I thought this was a good match. Now, I'm no expert on the Danielson McGuinness saga. I would suspect this wasn't the best match these two have ever had, but it was a good match, a fun, novel match. Now, I have some issues with how the match was built, of the whole will he, won't he be cleared, when everyone just assumes he will be, when Bryan will be cleared. We all know that. They could have done a little bit better on explaining and maybe hyping up how big of a deal this is and why Nigel is so bitter, why he's been gone, why is he wrestling now, and do a little bit more extra legwork to kind of build this match up. And maybe that's why they just threw this match out at the beginning. They didn't want to do any of that other stuff, and they just wanted to go out there and wrestle. And God bless them. They had a really good match. But yeah, the story headed into it was not great, and the crowd was into the wrestling, but I didn't get the sense that they were super intrigued and super excited that, oh my God, we're watching this legendary feud get reinvigorated and having this match here in New York. I mean, personally, I'm 30. I tout myself as a pretty knowledgeable wrestling fan. I know of the feud, but it's not something I'm clamoring for. And I know there's a lot of wrestling fans out there, a lot of AEW fans out there that probably don't have that same attachment to Danielson McGuinness that either Tony Khan does or who Tony Khan thinks watches AEW. So yeah, like I said, match was good, but there was some issues surrounded in terms of the story. That's kind of been the story of Danielson's career in AEW, where he just has really good matches, but kind of the reasoning for these matches, not the best. Then we had Hook and Roderick Strong, the FTW title match. Hook wins in 9 minutes. Good match, but crowd was relatively dead for this one. I mean, this would have been a fine match to like have, if they did do house shows, kind of have Roderick Strong, that veteran, kind of just lead Hook around the local loop and just have like, 20 matches in the span of a couple months, and Hook can really get some reps. But that's not Hook. We're like 4 years into the Hook experiment, and he's definitely improved, but I don't think he's kind of risen to that next level that maybe people thought he could have, especially when he was really hot 2022. Yeah, but it was definitely one of Hook's better matches. Nothing to not to scoff at it, but then Hook gets interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and Hook cuts a promo, and he retires the FTW title, gives it to Taz. Taz was visibly emotional, whether it was just, his title coming to an end, him being on screen with his son, whatever emotions Taz was feeling definitely were coming over him in this one. And thank God, one less title in AEW. I've been calling for this. I wanted it to happen like at All In, but it happened a couple weeks later, so I will take it. Then we got, shocker, another title match. AEW tag titles with the Young Bucks defending against Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. And this one was a long match, epic match, best match on the show. And I don't think that's really any surprise here with Will Ospreay and the run he's been on. And the Young Bucks, as much flack as they give them and how much they're kind of, coasting, I think thus far, if they're motivated and they want to have a really good match, they can still have a good match, and that was definitely the case here. Don Callis on the commentary. The story was, if you can call it a story, there was definitely it was a typical spot fest, Young Bucks, Will Ospreay, high flying affair. Crowd was super into it. They were popping for all the big moves, all the near falls. Don Callis handed Kyle Fletcher the screwdriver after Ospreay and Fletcher kind of got their momentum, and they seemed to be on the verge of winning, but Fletcher went to go use it as Callis distracted the referee, and Ospreay stopped him. That led to a distraction with Ospreay getting hit with the title. Fletcher also gets hit with the title, but he kicks out while Ospreay continues to be laying dead from the same, belt shot, and then they hit the BTE trigger on Fletcher, and he loses, and the Bucks retain. And I thought that a really good shot of Ospreay on the outside looking into the ring, and just kind of like the disappointment, the frustration, the all different types of agony of defeat feelings that he was feeling there, and possibly some disappointment in his friend cheating or going to cheat. So it looks as though we will be fleshing that out. Now, I don't know if this is a full-blown possible heel turn for Kyle Fletcher to go up against Will Ospreay, but this was definitely a really, really good match, and would suggest you guys go out and check it out. Then we had Prince Nana give us an update on Swerve. Nothing really of substance here, just really him saying that he's going to work his way back. He's not cleared yet, but he will be back. But the big news of this segment was MVP showing up, and he's going by MVP. I know he used that name on the indie scene, so it didn't seem like there was going to be any issues on that front, but he just kind of touts that Swerve is a great wrestler, but maybe his management is failing him, and if he wants to change management, he gave Prince Nana, MVP did give him his MVP gave Prince Nana his business card to give to Swerve. So, and he also stressed business, so obviously playing off on the Hurt Business, whether that is just him being a little cheeky or if there will be a possible Hurt Business later on down the road. So I thought it was a good segment from MVP and Nana here. I don't really see Nana talk all that much. He just kind of dances in the background, but good segment, good dynamic between MVP and Nana, and I'm intrigued to see what happens. We had Yuka Sakazaki, Mariah May. Mariah May wins in 6 minutes. Nothing special here. Afterwards, Willow makes a save, and Mina Shirakawa's music hits. That distracts Willow a little bit, and Mariah hits Willow from behind. Mina did not seem to care for the title shot from Mariah May, so they are playing up the confliction that Mina has with Mariah May, but Mariah May embraced her. She was all very happy to see her. Very over the top, and just kind of awkward. Also, going all the way back to the first match, completely forgot. Christian teased his cash-in and he was gonna sign the contract, and then Kip Sabian creeps up from behind him like it's a cartoon show. Basically, they should have had like little sound effects with every step he took, and he steals the pen and runs away from Christian as Christian goes to chase him. Then they follow him through the tunnel area, and they go head to head with Claudio and Pac, and that scares Christian. And he's like, okay, we're gonna get like some beatdown angle or something take place with Brian after the fact. Nope, they just cut to commercial. They hype up that Hook Roderick Strong match, and that was it. So that was definitely awkward. I didn't like that ending part post Brian Nigel match. But yeah. Main event, Darby Allin, Jon Moxley. Darby putting his world title match on the line. As I said, I don't understand if Darby... I have no issue with Darby giving up his title shot if Danielson wasn't on this card, but then the fact that Danielson was on the card does kind of make it very convoluted and unnecessarily confusing. But hard-hitting match. Darby was bleeding from his mouth early on after he bit the ropes and Moxley then kicked Darby. So WWE tends to do the blood capsule spot. Darby doesn't seem like that type of guy, but it did look gruesome with his blood kind of heavily flowing from his mouth there. I called her Mina Shirakawa. No, Marina Shafir didn't get too involved physically, but did have some distractions for Darby. Mox tried to choke out Darby. Darby, fought back, hit the ropes. Let's see. So Mox beat up Darby for a while. Shafir lifted up the ringside mat. Mox went for a Death Rider, but Darby escaped, and then Darby went to hit a suicide dive, but Mox sidestepped him, and Darby did a full little front flip, landed very hard on the exposed mat. It looked disgusting, looked nasty. He also hit him with they had the stairs propped up, and Darby did a little flipping drop on the steps. Moxley goes for the Bulldog choke. Darby was foaming at the mouth, but then he managed to crawl to the bottom rope. Darby made a comeback and bit Mox's head. Shafir stood on the ring apron. Mox slammed Darby off the top rope with a super Death Rider for the win. And Excalibur said that Mox will challenge for the AEW World Title at Wrestle Dream on October 12th in Tacoma, Washington. So Darby loses that title shot, and Moxley wins. I don't know why they had Darby win that battle royal all those months ago, then just to give it to Mox. It almost feels as though they didn't have this plan in place. They just kind of shuffled it around last minute. I don't know if it was because of the lack of ticket sales, so they decided, let's have Mox on the show. Let's do the Danielson-Nigel match to sell some tickets. But this is what they did. Danielson ran out and choked Moxley from behind with a necktie. I know Justin Roberts is probably getting some flashbacks there. Shafir then jumped and tried to break it up. Claudio and Pac joined in the private party, and Commander was also there to kind of offset it. So just a little smallish little brouhaha to end the show. No Wheeler Yuta. He will be a part of a 6-man tag match, title match on Collision, and then Danielson cuts a promo, challenged Mox to Wrestle Dream, said that he was going to kick his ass, and then finished off the show by saying he's going to get his fucking head kicked in. So there you go. That was AEW Grand Slam. Overall, a solid Dynamite. I would say maybe not one of the best Grand Slam shows, but it was like a little mini pay-per-view. We're what, 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away from Wrestle Dream. So we got Danielson and Moxley set up as that main event. I do see Moxley as a very viable challenger and a viable person to beat Danielson. It does seem strange to kind of have Danielson. I mean, it makes sense for Danielson to lose and retire in his home state of Washington, but then also it feels as though you want to get a little bit more out of him with this whole retirement angle. So it will be interesting to see what they do at Wrestle Dream. But that was the AEW recap. Let's kick it on back to Phillip.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. Grand Slam,
great,
huge show. They have like 6,000 people this time instead of 2,000 people.
An unbelievable main event. It is something that you never thought you would see.
That definitely did happen. They didn't pull the rug out for me at the last second.
Right. Come on now. Before we wrap things up and talk about the wrestling going on out here this weekend, anything you guys want to talk about? Anything going on in the industry that you guys want to talk about? West Coast Pro's been killing it with shows in San Diego and Irvine. Marlee, were you at any of these?
I was at the San Diego show, but I was not at Irvine. I had to work for Irvine.
How was San Diego?
San Diego was nice. I was expecting it to be hot, but San Diego's weather is similar to our weather. It's not too bad. We had San Diego Showdown at the Primal Compound, which is J2 Mattioli's school. I found out. Had a couple of their students, a couple of our regulars. It was a nice little show. I had a good time. It was great company over at the Primal Compound.
Yeah, I saw Manny and Miko Alano were in a battle royal.
Indeed, they were in a battle royal.
With Emily carried some guy to the back.
Yeah, it was an alien character type. Yeah, he just wouldn't accept the fact that he got eliminated, and Emily had to take care of business.
You can't play that around here,
Nope.
Yeah.
And I'm going back down that way next Saturday, the same day as Bad Blood, the Los Suavecitos and West Coast Pro putting on for the homies down in Montclair.
Okay.
Then the week after that, on October 11th, is our anniversary show. It's the last West Coast Pro show of the year.
It's no November, no. I mean, well, they've been hitting it so hard. No November, no December.
No.
I guess I know UGG was doing the same gimmick. The last show's in October.
I wouldn't say no. The anniversary show is not the last show of the year. We have Calusa Clash on the 24th.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, West Coast Pro, man. I mean, they put on a great show. What was that, Friday the 13th? A lot of fun. I'll most definitely be at that anniversary show because all those are always such a blast. And then you guys are returning to the stateroom, right, in January?
Yes, indeed. Going back to the stateroom in January. Don't have too much information on what that show is yet, but once it's out there, I'll be sharing it.
Yeah,
spread
please.
the word.
Stateroom is a great venue. Aesthetically inside, it looks so dope. So yeah, I mean, West Coast Pro, they always do a great job with the stuff they do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be wrapping it up. Oasis Pro has a big show this weekend. It is the season premiere. Episode 1 is Jersey Night. Bring your favorite sports jerseys. Wear them. A lot is going down. Elliot Ray takes on Alex Ace. There is a lot going on. There's a scramble match consisting of people like Alonzo Alvarez, Illuminae, and Cliff Hendricks. You can also see Dante Daring versus Brett the Threat. SPS will be in action against Chris Nasty, Jaya Jewel, and Jordan Cruz. Alice Vendetta returns to the Oasis, facing Kid Isaac. What else do we have on this card? Loverboy Leo sees if he can stand the test against the motherfucking Truth, Black Death, AJ Gray, and a tag team or four-way fade, a four-way tag. It will be the High Council consisting of Chima and Midas Creed going up against Town Strong Style, Rocky Hernandez, and Surza going up against the Ugly Dojo, the Final Chapter, Bishop Dorian, and of course the legend, the OG, his dad, Big Ugly, and the Melanin Mafia will be in attendance too. Go see what Sancho's head looks like after we got shaved. Yeah. Nonetheless, thank you guys so much. As always, be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.
Microphone Messiah, you know the down to the wire. Mr. No Days Off, this is the feeling. Know what we dealing. Let's get it on, yeah. It's the Bullet Cast.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.